Been having a few online discussions recently with people in the comments section of my videos discussing Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. I think with that in mind and with some of the discussions that I've been having, I wanted to re-watch and re-look at the Amir Khan fight that I view as possibly the most interesting, which is Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson. So I've sat down, I've just re-watched it, and I wanted to talk a bit about why I view this fight as very, very relevant. I think first and foremost, it's worth saying that you get to see some of the best of Amir Khan in this fight. He comes out, he gets early knockdowns. There's one or two knockdowns in the very first round, I believe. Depends how you view it. I think only one is scored in favour of Amir Khan, but he comes out. He shows early power, the hand speed's there, the combination punching is there, that which we know is typical of Amir Khan. But what is also evident is world-class footwork. Amir Khan shows world-class legs in this fight. He's circling around Lamont Peterson, he's keeping the distance really well. In the early rounds, he's not allowing Lamont Peterson to get in close to him and to close him down. And it looks like a really, really well-rounded display from Amir Khan. Into the fight, you get to see some really decent punch variety to Amir Khan. He's throwing his long one too, but you also see him throwing a really smart, tidy uppercut straight down the centre. You see him take a step back and throw nice body shots from distance, long hooks to the body. Really, really refined work, punch varieties there. And I think it's fair to say that since this fight he's improved as well. He was with Freddie Roach at the time. Now he's fighting with Virgil Hunter. Perhaps he's improved defensively. So, despite all of those pros, I think there's scope that Amir's got even better since this fight. Now, it was a tight fight, this. It's shrouded in controversy because Amir Khan only got one knockout scored in his favour, whereas arguably it should have been two. Amir Khan got 2 points deducted, whereas arguably that shouldn't have happened. But I think in terms of scoring the fight, you have to score it how the referee calls it, because otherwise, how can you make a decision on whether the judges were right or not? I scored the fight 100. I had Amir Khan 1 point ahead after 12 rounds. I had there being a single point in it. I scored 2 rounds, a draw, and pretty much have Amir Khan winning the first half of the fight and Lamont coming on very strong in the second half. But what I saw in this fight, despite all the positives to Amir Khan's game, and as I say, I've scored in this fight, I think he deserved to win. I disagree with the judges' decisions on the night. I think Amir Khan deserved the decision here. Having said that, what you see is a vulnerability in Amir Khan. You see that Lamont Peterson is able to close the gap. You see in the later rounds, Lamont Peterson is able to target Khan's body, to wear Khan down, and to really, cause some issues for Amir Khan on the inside. Amir Khan, to me, is a fighter at his very best when he's got room, when he's got length, and when he can fire at you from long distance, displaying that amazing hand speed and that amazing punch variety in the form of combinations that we've already discussed. Lamont Peterson, I think he'd watched the Marcus Maidana fight maybe and was modelling it on that, but he came forward really strong, consistent, dogged, determined, straight into Khan, chased, and literally chased, as in running, following Khan around the ring, not giving him any room to manoeuvre, and consistently throwing powerful, powerful body shots. And to me, Khan didn't look comfortable. Khan looked out of his game with his back to the ropes. Khan looked, off form when Lamont was so close to him. Khan didn't enjoy taking the bodywork from Lamont Peterson. Lamont is a really decent, above average yardstick. He's not a world beater. And for me, this is if you look at the other fights that Amir Khan's lost, Danny Garcia, Bradis Prescott, it's hard to say he was actually being outpointed on either of those occasions. What happens? He got caught on the chin, he got knocked out. This is quite different. This is a guy who didn't knock Khan out. This is a guy in Lamont Peterson who himself doesn't possess amazing punching power, but was able to get the job done through tactics. And I think that's what's interesting. Whenever we've seen Amir Khan go up against boxers who give him a bit of space, who let him fight long, guys like So Devin Alexander, for example, Amir's been very, very successful. And I think it's this kind of fighter like Lamont Peterson who takes away his range, who gets inside and who makes him uncomfortable with work to the body, who's going to have a real effect on Amir Khan. Now, for that reason, I don't see Chris Algieri as being competitive whatsoever. He's going to stand at range, he hasn't got power, he's going to use length to try and outbox Amir Khan. For me, that plays right into Amir's hands. It gives Amir space and it gives him time for his flashy combinations and to really show off that punch variety I've already discussed. It allows him to move, it allows him to show his hand speed. For that reason, I rate Amir Khan an overwhelming favourite over Chris Algieri. Now against Kell Brook, I also make Amir Khan a favourite, although I think Brook is a lot better than Algieri, so in that fight I'd be leaning 60-40, say, towards Amir Khan. Now let me discuss my reasons for that. People say, Kell Brook's got so much power, Amir Khan's got such a bad chin, how can you pick Amir Khan? As soon as Kell Brook taps him on the chin, it's going to be game over. Well, boxing isn't that simple. Amir Khan doesn't have the best chin in the world. I think we can all agree on that. But is there not an argument that his punch resistance may have increased at 147? Possibly. Also, we know Amir's been caught and been hurt a few times in fights, but you watch his fights, you watch this fight with Lamont Peterson, you watch the fight with Marcus Maidana. It's not so simple as a guy hits him and it's game over. Yes, he can be hurt, but his defence has improved under Virgil Hunter. He's a better clincher than previously. Also, as I say, I think there's a strong argument his punch resistance could potentially have increased at 147. So I think it's weak just to say Amir Khan's going to get knocked out. And I think we have to consider stylistically how the fight develops if a knockout doesn't occur. And that, you see, is why I potentially favour Amir Khan over Kell Brook. Because I think Kell Brook also is a fighter who likes range. He likes time, he likes space. For me, he looked devastating in the Jojo Dan fight, but his work was smothered when Jojo Dan came in and clinched on the inside. He looked less comfortable. I think that is the similarity between the two guys, as they both like to box, they both like to stand off, and they both appreciate a bit of time and a bit of space to get their best work done. So that's my thoughts on this one. I think that Kell Brook doesn't have that variety to his game. I think Kell Brook is predominantly a sort of outside 1-2 fighter. He doesn't have strong inside work, he doesn't punch to the body, he doesn't pose, even though he's a better fighter than Lamont Peterson, he doesn't pose any of the offensive threats that Lamont Peterson posed in their fight. Kell Brook is not going to destroy Amir Khan to the body. Kell Brook is, not going to rough Amir Khan up on the inside. And for me, standing on the outside, Amir Khan's work is the more eye-catching. He's got the better hand speed, he's got the better punch variety, he's got the more attractive stylistic combination punching. My point is, from a judging perspective, if these guys stand on the outside and trade, it's Amir Khan's shots who, in my opinion, are most likely going to be the most memorable. He's just a more attractive, immediately eye-catching fighter with his hand speed and his punch variety. And I don't think Kell Brook has great versatility. I don't think Kell Brook has other strings to his bow. For me, he really doesn't go to the body at all, and he's less comfortable on the inside. So yes, Kell Brook of course has a chance. He's an accurate puncher, he's a powerful puncher, he's better than anyone Khan's fought at 147, and Khan doesn't have a great chin. Of course Kell Brook has a chance, but for me it's oversimplistic just to say that Kell Brook is going to rock up and knock Amir Khan out. And realistically, I think Amir Khan has more tools and is the more eye-catching fighter from the outside. So that's why I'd make Amir Khan a slight favourite in that matchup, if that makes sense. Now, one thing that I would take from this fight, the Lamont Peterson, is a fighter who I would pick over Amir Khan. And bear in mind, I'm picking Amir over Kell Brook. I'm making, I think Amir's got the best chance of anyone in welterweight beating Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. I really rate Amir Khan. But styles make fights, and the fighter that I do think has a chance to beat Amir Khan is Sean Porter. Why? Because he does have those different strings to his bow. He is not an outside fighter like Algieri, like Kell Brook, who's going to allow Amir Khan space, who's going to allow Amir Khan time, who's going to give Amir Khan his range just to tee off from distance. He's a fighter who charges you, rushes you, hurries you. He's a fighter who gets on the inside and brawls and mauls with you and roughs you up. I think there's similarities between Sean Porter and Lamont Peterson, but I actually think Sean Porter is a far more advanced version of Lamont Peterson. I think he hits with more power. I think he's more athletic. I think he's stronger. And I think stylistically, Sean Porter is the guy who I think would be most confident of beating Amir Khan. Yes, I've just picked Khan to beat Kell Brook, and I know Brook beat Sean Porter, but I think styles make fights. And if you look at how uncomfortable Amir Khan was at moments in this Lamont Peterson fight, I find it difficult to believe that he's going to be as confident, and he's going to be as dominant against a Sean Porter. I just think he's a fighter who needs a bit of room to work and is better from the outside, whereas I think Sean Porter will take that away from him in the same way that Lamont Peterson did. And even though I score that fight to Amir Khan, clearly it wasn't Amir's best night. So there we go. I know there's references to Ali, Foreman, Fraser. Just because you can beat one doesn't mean you can beat the other. That's how I view it in this. I think Khan are slightly edged to him than Brook. Obviously, Brook's live in the fight. He's got power. He's got accuracy. Khan's chin. He can be knocked out. But I slightly edged to Amir just because I think the fight will be fought on the outside, and I think Amir is more of an eye-catching boxer who will do well with the judges. But a guy like Sean Porter, who can bring it in the same way Lamont Peterson can, I think is going to make Amir Khan look at his absolute worst. That's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. I'd be interested to hear how you scored Khan Lamont Peterson. As I say, I have Khan 1 point up. I think it was harsh, and I think it was a very, very unlucky night for Khan. I still scored it in his favour, despite the fact that he maybe missed out on a knockdown, despite the fact that maybe the 2 point deductions were harsh, whatever you want to say. I still scored that to Khan. Let me know your thoughts on that fight. How do you think Khan would do against Porter? Do you see Porter giving similar problems to Lamont Peterson? Thanks for watching.